Hey guys, I'm Adrienne. I work in student ministry. I think you all know that by now. But I just wanted to give a devotional this week on how to unplug because about 2 weeks ago, I was finding myself in a place of really needing to get off my phone, and I just couldn't because, oh, this person's texting me, and what about work? And now I'm gonna check Instagram, and I wanna keep up with my friends. And so I was getting super overwhelmed as time was going on and really anxious and really comparing myself to others. And I was also being bombarded with bad news time and time again. And it honestly made me feel like the world was just gonna blow up. And I wasn't trusting God, and I wasn't being gracious to people. I didn't have any forgiveness or compassion or mercy in my heart because I was so mad about other people's actions. And then I was also mad at myself for not looking like that person or traveling like this person. And I was just really unhealthy. So I found myself in need of time to unplug, and I didn't really know how to start. So before I get there, don't worry, I'm not going to tell you to delete social media. I'm not going to tell you to give away your iPhone. This is going to be very practical and really personal. So I really hope you guys take some time to study with me and learn with me how to unplug, because I'm still in the process of refining that part of myself and figuring it out. But I think this is something that we all really need to value, especially since we live in a day and age of technology, and it honestly just kind of controls our culture. So we need to figure out how to not let it control us. So our verse for today that I want to focus on is Romans 12, verse 2. It says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." My question for you guys today is, how can we be truly inspired when we are consuming so many things from our phones at once? So I'll say it again. How can we be truly inspired when we are consuming so many things at once? The answer is that you cannot. You can't be inspired. You will only find temporary inspiration that is quickly replaced by more temporary inspiration. Think about it. If you're on social media, even Pinterest, I love Pinterest. I'm sure lots of you gals out there like it too. But you see something on there like a cute painting idea or a cute recipe, and for that 1 minute, you see a recipe for cheeseburgers, right? And you're like, I want to make that cheeseburger so bad, and that's right at the front of your mind. And you keep scrolling, and then you see the next idea for a cheeseburger, and you're like, nope, I want to do that one. And then you scroll, and then you see recipe for dessert. And then the cheeseburger idea goes out the window, right? Because now you want to make dessert. So that's just one example, but seriously, you cannot get inspiration, true inspiration and motivation off of your phone, because it's just going to be temporary and it's going to be replaced really fast. Ideas that God places on our hearts, they fade really quickly because we move from idea to idea so fast that we can't just sit in one idea that God actually gives us and allow that idea to be our inspiration. So instead, we're being overwhelmed by this mass consumption of other people's ideas that we feel like we can't be original ourselves and we can't do anything because we keep seeing more and more and more and more. And God is saying, I need you to rest, and I need you to just be with me for a second. But we can't do it because we keep seeing everything on our phones. So, what do? We need to unplug and step away. And I think this is where a lot of you are like, I'm not going to do that. And you know what? I can't control you, but I really hope that you listen. So, sometimes we need to unplug and step away because our minds are racing all of the time. So we're going to find new inspiration. We're going to pick a half day or a whole day, whatever you guys can, and make a choice to intentionally turn off our phones. We're going to clear our schedule and get alone for some time with Jesus. We're going to eliminate distraction. We're going to stop complaining and using "I'm busy" as an excuse, because it's not. You being busy is your own choice. So All you need for this guideline is a Bible, a journal, a pen, and a worship playlist. Summit Students has a Spotify playlist, so I will go ahead and link that in our stories on Instagram, and the link will be in the email that's sent out to the parents. And keep in mind, like, having this intentional time away from your phone is not going to feel natural, because our world is not like that, and we as people aren't like that. We're constantly on the go, and we constantly are on our phone, and we're constantly wondering who texted us, or who posted this, or who needs to get a hold of us, or who can we FaceTime, and what are we going to do? And so having a half day where you don't turn off or don't turn on your phone is going to feel really difficult, but I just encourage you guys to just know that it's going to feel weird and do it anyways. And maybe you need to let people know that you're going to do this so they're not like worrying about why you're not replying. Either way, you need to do it. And I really, really, truly hope that you're not just like rolling your eyes and ignoring what I'm saying, because it's just so helpful to actually have true time with the Lord and not like, oh, I'm reading my Bible, but I'm going to check Instagram too. Like, that's not how it works. But so what we're going to do first is we're going to dive into the Word and spend time in prayer. So when you do this, you can write down verses, you pray through them, and then you journal your thoughts. And I'll show you the guide in just a second. I've made little templates that you guys can screenshot and use on your own. I've included Bible verses, and I've included journaling questions. So you really have no excuse. This is very easy, and it's going to be like a great guideline for you to get started in this and valuing your spiritual health. It's going to be amazing. But praying through verses just means like the one I just read, when God says, like, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. You would read it and say, like, God, show me what I need to do. God, show me how I'm conforming to this world. How can I transform myself? Lord, what can I do to be like Romans 12 verse 2? That's kind of praying through things, just like talking to God about the Bible verse, talking to him about yourself, your day, your experiences, but really praying through that actual verse. So you read one of the verses that I'm going to list out here, and then you say, God, like, I'm really struggling in this area, and like, I don't know how to not be like my friends. Like, I want to be like them so much. I don't know what to do. So you pray through it like that, and then you'll journal out your thoughts and feelings. So my biggest advice here is to just be. Let this time be what you need it to be with Jesus. I'm giving you advice, but my advice might not work necessarily for you. So Jesus just wants you. He just wants to be with you. So I really encourage you guys to just let this time be with you and Jesus. If you need to draw and like listen to worship music, man, that's amazing. But have that time where you're like, I'm turning off my phone, I'm shutting off the world, and I'm going to be with me and Jesus for this amount of time. And I promise you guys, it's going to be life-changing. And the first few times might feel weird. It still feels weird for me to not turn my phone on, but that's just something you choose. You choose to not let it control you. So anyways, I have a whole list of scriptures that I've prepared for you guys. And I actually got the inspiration for this from a blog by Sadie Robertson. She's a Christian speaker. She has a blog called Live Original. It's awesome if you need any more resources. But I'll go ahead and list all the scriptures here. We've got scripture for anxiety, for fear, for peace, for unmet desires, for waiting, and for experiencing God's love. So I've listed out scriptures in each of those, and you can go choose what you're like, oh, I really need to experience God's love today. You can go to those scriptures, read them, pray through them, journal about them, listen to some worship music, and analyze those verses, guys. Like, get into them. And then I've also prepared some questions, which I will put on the next screen as well. And we'll also post them to our stories in Instagram, so you can screenshot them. But the questions are just some really kind of like deep questions that can help you journal and just really like analyze your spiritual health with God. Because I know sometimes, like, when I would sit down to journal when I was first starting, I was like, dear God, my day was bad, and I don't, it was awkward, and I was like, am I writing a diary entry because I don't really like the way that feels? So these questions are awesome. Like, for example, one of the questions we have on here is, how can you see Jesus pursuing you right now? Another one is, what are 10 things you're grateful for? And another one is, if you could sum up this season of life in one word, what would it be? So you just kind of like journal through those things, talk to God about them. You could say like, hey God, this season, if I had to describe it in one word, it would be difficult, or whatever you're thinking. But like, your journaling is between you and God. It's not for you to show to anyone else. It's not for you to tell me. But yeah, guys, I mean, the goal of this devotional today was for us to realize that we are created to create. We need to create more and consume less. Social media is not bad. Your phone is not bad. But because you consume so much all the time, you're limiting your capacity to create and to be with God. So yeah, create more and consume less. It's a different pattern from the world, but we can do it. So thanks for watching. I know it was kind of a longer devotional today, but man, we love you guys and we're praying for you. And if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Have a good time with your intentional quiet time. Also, you guys, you can write in your Bible. I know that's like kind of new for a lot of people, but like it shouldn't be like, if you need to take notes, if you need to write, if you need to like doodle, I drew a flower right there. That's your time with God, man. But yeah, that's all. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Catch you next week.